Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada here in the live studios in Radha Lane. And we get a chance to associate with Srila Prabhupada every day for at least an hour and a half. And it's so nice. Share it. What do they call that word? Share. Isn't that what they say when you share it? Click the share button and get it out there so more people can come and hear and be with Prabhupada. Okay, Sanatana Goswami, his prayer. We're getting addicted. I'm getting addicted. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm addicted to this prayer. Srimad-Bhagavata Mihima Stotram. The glories of the Srimad-Bhagavatam told to us by Srila Sanatana Goswami, just after he got instructed for 2 months, direct, by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this was his understanding that came out. It goes like this. Sarva Sashabdipiyusha Sarva Vedaika Satpala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnaya Sarvalokaika Drikprada. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana, Srimad Bhagavata Prabho, Kalidwandodita Ditya, Sri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Srimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Padaya, Prema Varshakshadayate, Sarvada Sarvasevyaya, Sri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you, who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Madeka Bando Matsangin, Madguro Man Mahadana, Mannishtadaga Madbhagya, Madananda Namostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Sadhu sadhu tadayin atini chochatakara hanamun shagadachin mam prindarit kantayospura. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Pranahari Prabhu told me that he felt very uplifted by the reading last night. So here we are, back into the 10th canto of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, beginning with text 67. What do you think? It's going to work? The advent of Lord Krishna. Kings, greedy for sense gratification on this earth, almost always kill their enemies indiscriminately to satisfy their own whims. They may kill anyone, even their mothers, fathers, brothers, or friends. Purport. As we've seen in the history of India that Aurangzeb killed his brother and nephews and imprisoned his father to fulfill political ambitions. There have been many similar instances, and Kamsa was the same type of king. Kamsa did not hesitate to kill his nephews and imprison his sister and his father. For demons to do such things is not astonishing. Nonetheless, although Kamsa was a demon, he was aware that Lord Vishnu Nonetheless, although Kamsa was a demon, he was aware that Lord Vishnu cannot be killed. And thus, he attained salvation. Even partial understanding of the activities of Lord Vishnu makes one eligible for salvation. Kamsa knew a little about Krishna, that he could not be killed. And therefore he attained salvation, although he thought of Vishnu, Krishna, as an enemy. What then is to be said of one who knows Krishna perfectly from the descriptions of Shastra, like the Bhagavad Gita? It is therefore the duty of everyone to read the Bhagavad Gita and understand Krishna perfectly. This will make one's life successful. Text 68. You can tell the class about the bully. This is the way to avoid bullying. Okay. In his previous birth, Kamsa had been a great demon named Kalanemi and been killed by Vishnu. Upon learning this information from Narada, Kamsa became envious of everyone connected with the Yadu dynasty. Purport. Persons who are demons, enemies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are called asuras. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the asuras, because of their enmity toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead, take birth after birth in asura families, and therefore glide down to the darkest hellish regions. Text 69. Kamsa, the most powerful son of Ugrasena, even imprisoned his own father, the king of the Yadu, Bhoja, and Andaka dynasties, and personally ruled the states known as Shurasena. Purport. The state known as Mathura was also included within the states known as Shurasena. Additional notes for this chapter. Regarding transmigration of the soul, Srila Madhvacharya gives the following notes. When one is awake, whatever one sees or hears is impressed upon the mind, which later works in dreams to show one different experiences, although in dreams one appears to accept a different body. For example, when one is awake, one does business and talks with customers, and similarly in dreams, one meets various customers, talks about business, and gives quotations. Madhvacharya says, therefore, that dreams take place according to what one sees, hears, and remembers. When one reawakens, of course, one forgets the body of the dream. This forgetfulness is called apasmiti. Thus we are changing bodies because we are sometimes dreaming, sometimes awake, and sometimes forgetful. Forgetfulness of our previously created body is called death, and our work in the present body is called life. After death, one cannot remember the activities of one's previous body, whether imaginary or factual. The agitated mind is compared to agitated water reflecting the sun and the moon. Actually, the sun and moon reflected on the water do not exist there. Nonetheless, they are reflected according to the movements of the water. Similarly, when our minds are agitated, we wander in different material atmospheres and receive different types of bodies. This is described in the Bhagavad Gita as Gunasanga. Karanam Gunasangosya. Madhvacharya says, Guna nu badaksan. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Brahmanda Brahmite Konya Bhagyavan Jeev. The living entity rotates up and down throughout the universe, sometimes in the upper planetary system, sometimes in the middle and lower planetary systems, sometimes as a man, sometimes a god, a dog, a tree, and so on. This is all due to the agitation of the mind. The mind must therefore be steadily fixed. As it is said, Savai Manak Krishna Padada Vindayo. One should fix one's mind at the lotus feet of Krishna, and then one will become free from agitation. This is the instruction of the Garuda Purana. And in the Naradiya Purana, the same process is described. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Yanti Deva Vrta Devan, the agitated mind goes to different planetary systems because it is attached to different kinds of demigods. But one does not go to the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by worshipping the demigods, for this is not supported by any Vedic literature. Man is the architect of his own fortune. In this human life, one has the facility with which to understand one's real situation, and one can decide whether to wander around the universe forever or return home back to Godhead. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Aprapyamam nivartante mrityu sangsaravartmani. There is no such thing as chance. When a tree is burning in a forest fire, and although the nearest tree is spared, a distant tree catches fire. This may appear to be chance. Similarly, one may seem to get different types of bodies by chance, but actually one receives these bodies because of the mind. The mind flickers between accepting and rejecting, and according to the acceptance and rejection of the mind, we receive different types of bodies, although we superficially seem to obtain these bodies by chance. Even if we accept the theory of chance, the immediate cause for the change of body is the agitation of the mind. Yes, you got it. Notes on Angsha. This chapter describes that Krishna appeared Angshena, with his parts and parcels, or his partial manifestation. In this connection, Sridhar Swami says that Krishna is 100% Bhagavan. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. Because of our imperfections, however, we cannot appreciate Krishna in fullness. And therefore, whatever Krishna exhibited when present on earth was but a partial manifestation of his opulence. Again, Krishna appeared with his plenary expansion, Baladev. Krishna, however, is full. There is no question of his appearing partially. In the Vaishnava Toshini, Srila Sanatana Goswami says that to accept that Krishna was partially manifested would contradict the statement, Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. Srila Jiva Goswami says that the word Angshena means that Krishna appeared with all his plenary expansions. The words Angshena Vishnu do not mean that Krishna is a partial representative of Vishnu. Rather, Krishna appeared in fullness, and he manifests himself partially in the Vaikuntha lokas. In other words, Lord Vishnu is a partial representation of Krishna. Krishna is not a partial representation of Vishnu. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 4, this subject matter is explained very clearly. Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur also notes that no one can describe Krishna in fullness. Whatever descriptions we find in Srimad-Bhagavatam are partial explanations of Krishna. In conclusion, therefore, the word Angshena indicates that Lord Vishnu is a partial representation of Krishna, not that Krishna is a partial representation of Vishnu. Srila Sanatana Goswami's Vaishnava Toshini has explained the word Dharma Shilasya. The exact meaning of Dharma Shila is an unadulterated devotee. Real Dharma consists of full surrender to Krishna. Sarva Dharman, Parityaja, Mamekam, Sharanam Vraja. One who has fully surrendered to Krishna is actually religious. One such religious person was Maharaj Parikshit. Anyone who accepts the principle of surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord, giving up all other systems of religion, is actually Dharma Shila, perfectly religious. The word Nivrita Tarshai refers to one who no longer has any material desires, Sarvopadi, Vinirmuktam. One may have many material desires because of contamination in this material world. But when one is completely free from all material desires, he is called Nivrita Trishna, which indicates that he no longer has any thirst for material enjoyment. Swamin Kritartosmi Vadam Nayache. Hari Bhakti Sudodaya. Materialistic persons want some material profit from executing devotional service. But this is not the purpose of devotional service. The perfection of devotional service lies in complete surrender unto the lotus feet of Krishna with no material desires. One who surrenders in this way is already liberated. Jivan Mukta Sa Uchite. One who is always busy serving Krishna, in whatever condition he may live, is understood to be liberated even in this life. Such a person who is a pure devotee does not need to change his body. Indeed, he does not possess a material body, for his body has already been spiritualized. An iron rod kept constantly within a fire will ultimately become fire, and whatever it touches will burn. Similarly, the pure devotee is in the fire of spiritual existence, and therefore his body is chinmaya. That is, it is spiritual, not material, because the pure devotee has no desire but the transcendental desire to serve Krishna, to serve the Lord. In text 4, the word upagiyamanat is used. Nivritatarshar upagiyamanat. Who will chant the glories of the Lord unless he is a devotee? Therefore, the word Nivrititarshai indicates the devotee and no one else. These are the remarks of acharyas like Viraraghava Acharya and Vijayadhwaj. To desire anything other than devotional service will diminish one's freedom from material desires. But when one is free from all such desires, one is called Nivrita Tarshai. Vina pashugnat. The word pashu means animal. An animal killer, pashugna, cannot enter into Krishna consciousness. In our Krishna consciousness movement, therefore, animal killing is completely prohibited. Uttama Shloka Gunanuvadat. The word Uttama Shloka means one who is famous as the best of those who are good. The Lord is good in all circumstances. That is His natural reputation. His goodness is unlimited, and He uses it unlimitedly. A devotee is also sometimes described as Uttama Shloka, meaning that he is eager to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the Lord's devotees. Glorifying the Lord and glorifying the Lord's devotees are the same. Or rather, glorifying the devotee is more important than glorifying the Lord directly. Narottam Das Thakur explains this fact. Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Payeche Keva. One cannot be liberated from material contamination without sincerely serving a devotee of Krishna. Bhavau Shadat means from the universal remedy. Chanting the holy name and glorifying the Supreme Lord are the universal remedy for all the miseries of materialistic life. Persons who desire to be freed from this material world are called mumukshu. Such persons can understand the miseries of materialistic life, and by glorifying the activities of the Lord, they can be released from all these miseries. The transcendental sound vibrations concerning the Lord's name, fame, form, qualities, and paraphernalia are all non-different from the Lord. Therefore, the very sound vibration of the Lord's glorification and name are pleasing to the ears. And by understanding the absolute nature of the Lord's name, form, and qualities, the devotee becomes joyful. Even those who are not devotees, however, enjoy the pleasing. Even those who are not devotees, however, enjoy the pleasing narrations of the Lord's transcendental activities. Even ordinary persons not very much advanced in Krishna consciousness take pleasure in describing the narrations depicted in Srimad-Bhagavatam. Well, that explains it. Read that again. Even ordinary persons not very much advanced in Krishna consciousness take pleasure in describing the narrations depicted in Srimad-Bhagavatam. When a materialistic person is purified in this way, he engages in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. Because glorification of the Lord's pastimes is very pleasing to the ear and heart of the devotee, it is simultaneously his subject and object. In this world there are three kinds of men: those who are liberated, those trying to be liberated, and those entangled in sense enjoyment. Of these three, those who are already liberated chant and hear the holy name of the Lord, knowing perfectly that to glorify the Lord is the only way to keep oneself in a transcendental position. Those who are trying to be liberated, the second class, may regard the chanting and hearing of the Lord's holy name as a process of liberation, and they too will feel transcendental pleasure from this chanting. As for karmis and persons engaged in sense gratification, they also may take pleasure in hearing the pastimes of the Lord, like his fighting on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and his dancing in Vrindavan with the gopis. The word Uttama Shloka Gunanuvada refers to the transcendental qualities of the Supreme Lord, such as his affection for Mother Yashoda and his friends, the cowherd boys, and his loving attitude toward the gopis. The Lord's devotees, like Maharaj Yudhishthir, are also described by the qualification Uttama Shloka Gunanuvada. The word Anuvada refers to describing the qualities of the Supreme Lord or his devotees. When these qualities are described, other devotees are interested in hearing them. I'll repeat that. When these qualities are described, other devotees are interested in hearing them. The more one is interested in hearing about these transcendental qualities, the more one transcendentally enjoys. Everyone, therefore, including the mumukshus, the vimuktas, and the karmis, should chant and hear the glories of the Lord. And in this way, everyone will benefit. Although the sound vibration of the transcendental qualities of the Lord is equally beneficial to all, for those who are muktas, liberated, it is especially pleasing. As described in Srimad-Bhagavatam, 8th canto, 3rd chapter, verse 20, because pure devotees who no longer have any material desires surrender fully to the lotus feet of the Lord, they always merge in the ocean of bliss by chanting and hearing the Lord's holy name. According to this verse, devotees like Narada and other residents of Shweta-dweep are seen always engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord, because by such chanting they are always externally and internally blissful. The mumukshus, persons desiring to be liberated, do not depend on the pleasures of the senses. Instead, they concentrate fully on becoming liberated by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Karmis like to create something pleasing to their ears and hearts, and although they sometimes like to chant or hear the glories of the Lord, they do not do it openly. Devotees, however, always spontaneously hear, chant about, and remember the activities of the Lord, and by this process they are fully satisfied, even though these may seem like topics of sense gratification. Simply by hearing the transcendental narrations of the Lord's activities, Parikshit Maharaj was liberated. He was therefore Shrotramano Birama. That is, he glorified the process of hearing. This process should be accepted by all living entities. To distinguish persons who are bereft of these transcendental pleasures, Parikshit Maharaj has used the words Virajeta Puman. The word Puman refers to any person, whether man, woman, or in between. Because of the bodily conception of life, we are subject to lamentation. But one who has no such bodily conceptions can take pleasure in transcendental hearing and chanting. Therefore, a person fully absorbed in the bodily concept of life is surely killing himself by not making spiritual progress. Such a person is called a pashugna, especially excluded from. This is the notes, Sarva, at the end of the chapter. Such a person is called pashugna. Especially excluded from spiritual life are the animal hunters, who are not interested in hearing and chanting the holy name of the Lord. Such hunters are always unhappy, both in this life and in the next. It is therefore said that a hunter should neither die nor live. because for such persons both living and dying are troublesome. Animal hunters are completely different from ordinary karmis, and thus they have been excluded from the process of hearing and chanting. Vina prashugnat. They cannot enter into the transcendental pleasure of chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord. The word Maharata refers to a great hero who can fight alone against 11,000 other heroes. And the word Atirata is found in text 5, refers to one who can fight against an unlimited number. Bhishma. This is mentioned in the Mahabharata as follows. Ekadasha sahasrani yodayet yastudan binam astra shastra pravinas cha maharata iti smritaha amitan yodayet yastu samprokto tirdatas tu saha. This is the description given in the Brihad Vaishnava Toshani by Srila Sanatana Goswami. You see, all these notes are notes from our previous acharyas. And they just take us deeper and deeper and deeper into the subject. So they're very unusual because Prabhupada's purports are coalition of all these different commentaries. And then on top of that, he puts his own realization. It makes the Bhaktivedanta purports special. Maya Manushasya 10.1.7. Because of being covered by Yoga Maya, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya, Yoga Maya Samavritaha, Bhagavad Gita 7.25. Krishna is sometimes called Maya Manusha, indicating that although he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he appears like an ordinary person. A misunderstanding arises because Yoga Maya covers the vision of the general public. The Lord's position is actually different from that of an ordinary person, for although he appears to act like an ordinary man, he is always transcendental. The word Maya also indicates mercy, and sometimes it also means knowledge. The Lord is always full of all transcendental knowledge, and therefore, although he acts like a human being, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full of knowledge. In his original identity, the Lord is the controller of Maya. Maya jak chena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Therefore, the Lord may be called Maya Manusha, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead playing like a human being, although he is the controller of both the material and spiritual energies. The Lord is the Supreme Person, Purushottam, but because we are deluded by Yoga Maya, he appears to be an ordinary person. Ultimately, however, Yoga Maya induces even a non-devotee to understand the Lord as the Supreme Person, Purushottama. In the Bhagavad Gita, we find two statements given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For the devotees, the Lord says, Tesham satadiyuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Thus, for the willing devotee, the Lord gives intelligence by which to understand him and return home back to Godhead. For others, for non-devotees, the Lord says, Mrityu sarva harascha ham. I am all plundering, inevitable death. A devotee like Prahlad enjoys the activities of Lord Nrsingadev, whereas non-devotees like Prahlad's father, Hiranyakashipu, meet death before Lord Nrsingadev. The Lord therefore acts in two ways, by sending some onto the path of repeated birth and death, and sending others back home, back to Godhead. The word Kala, meaning black, indicates the color of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Lord Krishna and Lord Ramachandra, who both looked blackish, give liberation and transcendental bliss to their devotees. Among persons possessing material bodies, sometimes someone is able to subject death to his own will. For such a person, death is almost impossible because no one wants to die. But although Bhishma Dev possessed this power, Bhishma, by the supreme will of the Lord, died very easily in the Lord's presence. By the supreme will of the Lord, died very easily in the Lord's presence. There have also been many demons who had no hope of salvation, yet Kamsa attained salvation by the supreme will of the Lord. Not to speak of Kamsa, even Putana attained salvation and reached the level of the Lord's mother. Parikshit Maharaj therefore was very eager to hear about the Lord, who has inconceivable qualities by which to give liberation to anyone. Parikshit Maharaj, at the point of his death, was certainly interested in his liberation. When such a great and exalted personality as the Lord behaves like an ordinary human being, although possessing inconceivable qualities, his behavior is called Maya, mercy. Therefore the Lord is described as Maya Manusha. This is the opinion of Srila Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami. There's no scholar like Jiva Goswami. Mu refers to mukti, or salvation, and ku refers to that which is bad or very obnoxious. Thus, mukku refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who saves one from the bad condition of material existence. The Lord is called Mukunda because he not only saves the devotee from material existence, but offers him transcendental bliss in love and service. As for Keshava, Ka means Brahma and Isha means Lord Shiva. The personality of Godhead captivates both Lord Brahma and Lord Mahadev or Shiva by his transcendental qualities. Therefore he is called Keshava. This opinion is given by Sanatana Goswami in his Vaishnava Toshani commentary. Prabhupada's writing through all the commentaries here for our pleasure. It is said that all the demigods, accompanied by Trinayana, Lord Shiva, went to the shore of the ocean of milk and offered their prayers through the mantra known as Purusha Sukta. From this statement it is understood that the demigods cannot directly approach Lord Vishnu, who lies on the ocean of milk, or enter his abode. This is also clearly stated in the Mahabharata, Moksha Dharma, in the next chapter of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has his abode in Goloka, Goloka Namni, Nijadamni, Tale, Chatasya. From Lord Krishna come the Chaturvyuha, the quadruple expansions, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Vasudeva. There are innumerable Brahmandas, all of which emanate from the pores of Karnodakashayi Vishnu. And in every Brahmanda there is a Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, who is a partial expansion of Aniruddha. This Aniruddha is a partial expansion of Pradyumna, who is partially represented as Chiro Dakashaya Vishnu, the supersoul of all living entities. These Vishnu expansions are different from Krishna, who resides in Goloka Vrindavan. When it is said that the demigods offered prayers to the Lord by chanting the Purusha Sukta, this indicates that they pleased the Lord by enunciating prayers of bhakti. The word Vrishakapi refers to one who satisfies his devotee in every way and frees his devotee from all material anxieties. Vrisha refers to religious performances like sacrifices. Even without the execution of sacrifices, the Lord can still enjoy the supermost comforts of the heavenly planets. The statement that Purushottam, Jagannath, would appear in the house of Vasudeva distinguishes the Supreme Personality of Godhead from ordinary persons. The statement that he personally appeared indicates that he did not send his plenary expansion. The word Priyartam indicates that the Lord appeared in order to please Rukmini and Radharani. Priya means the most beloved. In the commentary of Sri Viraghava Acharya, the following extra verse is accepted after text 23. Rishayo pitad adeshat kalpyantam pashurupinaha payodana mukhenapi vishnum tarpayitum suraha. O demigods, even great sages, following the order of Vishnu, appeared in the forms of cows and calves to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by delivering milk. Ramanujacharya sometimes accepts Baladev as a Shaktivesh avatar. But Srila Jiva Goswami has explained that Baladev is an expansion of Krishna and that a part of Baladev is Sankarshan. Although Baladev is identical with Sankarshan, he is the origin of Sankarshan. Therefore the word Swarat has been used to indicate that Baladev always exists in his own independence. The word Swarat also indicates that Baladev is beyond the material conception of existence. Maya cannot attract him, but because he is fully independent, he can appear by his spiritual potency wherever he likes. Maya is fully under the control of Vishnu. Because the material potency and Yoga Maya mingle in the Lord's appearance, they are described as ekanangsha. Sometimes ekanangsha is interpreted to mean without differentiation. Sankarshan and Sheshanaga are identical. As stated by Yamuna Devi, O Rama, O great-armed master of the world, you have extended yourself throughout the entire universe by one plenary expansion. It is not possible to understand you fully. Therefore, Ekanksha refers to Sheshanaga. In other words, Baladev, merely by his partial expansion, sustains the entire universe. The word Karyarte refers to one who attracted the pregnancy of Devaki and bewildered Mother Yashoda. These pastimes are very confidential. The Supreme Personality of Godhead ordered Yogamaya to bewilder his associates in his pastimes and bewilder demons like Kamsa. As stated previously, Yogamayam Samadhishat. To give service to the Lord, Yogamaya appeared along with Mahamaya. Mahamaya refers to yaya samohitam jagat, one who bewilders the entire material world. From this statement, it is to be understood that Yogamaya, in her partial expansion, becomes Mahamaya and bewilders the conditioned souls. In other words, the entire creation has two divisions: transcendental or spiritual and material. Yogamaya manages the spiritual world, and by her partial expansion as Mahamaya, she manages the material world. As stated in the Narada Pancharatra, Mahamaya is a partial expansion of Yogamaya. The Narada Pancharatra clearly states that the Supreme Personality has one potency, which is sometimes described as Durga. The Brahma Samhita says, Chayeva yasya bhubanani bibharti Durga. Durga is not different from Yogamaya. When one understands Durga properly, he is immediately liberated. For Durga is originally the spiritual potency, Ladini Shakti, by whose mercy one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead very easily. Rata Krishna Pranaya Vikirti Ladini Shaktir Asmat. The Mahamaya Shakti, however, is a covering of Yogamaya, and she is therefore called the covering potency. By this covering potency, the entire material world is bewildered. Yaya samahitam jagat. In conclusion, bewildering the conditioned souls and liberating the devotees are both functions belonging to Yogamaya. Transferring the pregnancy of Devaki and keeping Mother Yashoda in deep sleep were both done by Yogamaya. Mahamaya cannot act upon such devotees, for they are always liberated. But although it is not possible for Mahamaya to control liberated souls or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she did bewilder Kamsa. The action of Yogamaya is presenting herself before Kamsa. In presenting herself before Kamsa was the action of Mahamaya, not Yogamaya. Yogamaya cannot even see or touch such polluted persons as Kamsa. In Chandi, in the Markandeya Purana, 11th chapter, Mahamaya says, during the 28th Yuga, in the period of Vaivaswata Manu, I shall take birth as the daughter of Yashoda and be known as Vindhyachala Vasini. There's a nice name. Vindhyachala Vasini. Remember that when you initiate somebody later on. It's a good name you got. Got? The distinction between the two Mayas, Yogamaya and Mahamaya, is described as follows. Krishna's Rasa Leela with the gopis and the gopis' bewilderment in respect to their husbands, fathers-in-law, and other such relatives were arrangements of Yogamaya, in which Mahamaya had no influence. The Bhagavatam gives sufficient evidence of this when it clearly says, Yogamayam upashritaha. On the other hand, there were asuras headed by Shalva and Kshatriyas like Duryodhana, who were bereft of devotional service, in spite of seeing Krishna's carrier Garuda and the universal form, and who could not understand Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, it's not good enough just to see Krishna face to face. Right? Right? More to it than that. This was also bewilderment, but this bewilderment was due to Mahamaya. Therefore, it is to be concluded that the Maya which drags a person from the Supreme Personality of Godhead is called Jadamaya, and the Maya which acts on the transcendental platform is called Yogamaya. When Nanda Maharaj was taken by Varuna, he saw Krishna's opulence, but nonetheless, he thought of Krishna as his son. Such feelings of parental love in the spiritual world are acts of Yogamaya, not of Jadamaya or Mahamaya. This is the opinion of Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur. Shurashenam cha, the son of Kartavirarjuna, was Shurasena, and the countries he ruled were also called Shurasena. This is noted by Sanatana Goswami in his Vaishnava Toshani commentary. In regard to Mathura, we find this quotation in the Gopal Tapani Upanishad 263. Matyate tu jagat sarvam brahmagyanena yena va tatsara bhutam yadyasyam mathura sa nigadyate. When a self-realizing soul acts in his transcendental position, his situation is called Mathura. I'll repeat that, just in case anyone was sleeping. When a self-realized soul acts in his transcendental position, his situation is called Mathura. In other words, when one acts in the process of bhakti yoga, he may live anywhere, but actually he lives in Mathura. Vrindavan. Devotion to Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is the essence of all knowledge. And wherever such knowledge is manifested is called Mathura. Also, when one establishes bhakti yoga, excluding all other methods, one's situation is called Mathura. Yatra nityam sanhito hari. The place where Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, lives eternally is called Mathura. The word nitya indicates eternality. The Supreme Lord is eternal, and his abode is also eternal. Goloka eva nifasatya kilatma bhuta. Although the Lord is always stationed in his abode, Goloka Vrindavan, he is present everywhere in fullness. This means that when the Supreme Lord descends to the surface of the world, his original abode is not vacant. For he can remain in his original abode and simultaneously descend to Mathura. Vrindavan, Ayodhya, and other places. He does not need to descend since he is already present there. Doesn't have to take an escalator down. He simply manifests himself. Srila Shukadeva Goswami has addressed Maharaj Parikshit as Tata, or beloved son. This is due to parental love in the heart of Shukadeva Goswami. Because Krishna was soon coming to the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, out of parental affection, Shukadeva Goswami addressed Maharaj Parikshit as Tata, my dear son. In the Vishwakosha dictionary, the word Garbha is explained. Garbo, Brune, Arbake, Kukshao, Ityadi. When Kamsa was about to kill Devaki, Vasudeva wanted to dissuade him by the diplomacy of Sama and Beda. Sama means pacifying. Vasudeva wanted to pacify Kamsa by indicating relations, gain, welfare, identity, and glorification. You know what this should do? What we're hearing now? This is deep realization. This should make us humble. We should realize who we are in relationship with these acharyas by hearing these things. So if we just get this much from this, we can't remember all this. Not possible. Jiva Goswami had the whole Bhagavatam in the palm of his hand. Every single word, he knew where it was, he knew where it meant, he knew what every single verse. In this way we can hear. Reference to these 5 concerns constitutes Sama, and Vasudeva's presentation of fear in 2 situations, in this life and the next, is called Beda. Thus, Vasudeva used both Sama and Beda to pacify Kamsa. Praising Kamsa's qualifications was glorification, and praising him as a descendant of the Bhojan Vangsha appealed to Sambandha, relationship. Speaking of your sister was an appeal to identity. And arousing fear of the sinful act of killing one's sister during her marriage ceremony is an aspect of Beda. The Bhoja dynasty refers to those who were simply interested in sense gratification and were therefore not very aristocratic. Another meaning of Bhoja is fighting. These are indications of defamation for Kamsa. When Vasudeva addressed Kamsa as Dina Vatsala, this was excessive praise. Kamsa would accept calves as a form of revenue from his poor constituents, and therefore he was called Dina Vatsala. Vasudeva knew very well that he could not by force rescue Devaki from the imminent danger. Devaki was actually the daughter of Kamsa's uncle, and therefore she is described as Surit, meaning relative. It is stated that Kamsa refrained from killing his close relation Devaki because if he had killed her, a great fight would have ensued among the other members of the family. Kamsa refrained from provoking this great danger of a family fight, for it would have caused many persons to lose their lives. Formerly an Asura named Kalanemi had 6 sons named Hangsa, Suvikrama, Krata, Damana, Ripurmardana, and Krodahanta. They were known as the Shatgarbhas, or 6 Garbhas, and they were equally powerful and expert in military affairs. These Shatgarbhas gave up the association of Hiranyakashipu, their grandfather, and underwent great austerities to satisfy Lord Brahma, who, upon being satisfied, agreed to give them whatever benediction they might desire. When asked by Lord Brahma to state what they wanted, the Shatgarbhas replied, "Dear Lord Brahma, if you want to give us a benediction, give us the blessing that we will not be killed by any demigod, Maharoga, Yaksha, Gandharvapati, Siddha, Charana, or human being, nor by great sages who are perfect in their penances and austerities." Brahma understood their purpose and fulfilled their desire. But when Hiranyakashipu came to know of these events, he was very angry at his grandsons. He was envious of his own grandsons. Oh, my God. "You have given up my association and have gone to worship Lord Brahma," he said, "and therefore I no longer have any affection for you. You have tried to save yourselves from the hands of the demigods, but I curse you in this way. Your father will take birth as Kamsa and kill all of you, because you will take birth as sons of Devaki." Because of this curse, the grandsons of Hiranyaksha had to take birth, Hiranyakashipu, had to take birth from the womb of Devaki and be killed by Kamsa, although he was previously their father. This description is mentioned in the Harivangsha, Vishnu Parva, 2nd chapter, according to the comments of the Vaishnava Toshini. The son of Devaki, known as Kirtiman, was the 3rd incarnation. In his first incarnation, he was known as Smara and was the son of Marichi, and later he became the son of Kalanemi. This is mentioned in the histories. So all of these things, if you knew all the Puranas, which is impossible, then you could put all these things together and you'd understand everything. In an additional verse, my God, it just goes on and on. An additional verse in this chapter of Srimad-Bhagavatam is accepted by the Madhvacharya Sampradaya, represented by Vijayadwaj Tirtha. The verse is as follows: Atakang sang upagamya narado brahmanandanaha ekantam upasangamya bhakyam etat ubachaha. Ata, in this way, kangsang, andukangsa, upagamya, after going, Narada, the great sage Narada, Brahmanandana, who is the son of Brahma, ekantam, upasangyam, after going to a very solitary place, vakyam, the following instruction, etat, this, ubacha, said, ha, in the past. Translation: thereafter, Narada, the mental son of Lord Brahma, approached Kamsa and in a very solitary place informed him of the following news. You're going to get killed anyway. I'm going to stop there. Hare Krishna. 7:10. I thought you'd never ask. Go ahead.
You still have some to the end of the chapter.
How much?
Just a little bit more.
A little bit? Well, all right. If you say so. The distinction... Wait. Where was I?
Great Saint Narada descends.
What?
It's the purport of that, or right after that translation. The great
Oh, I
Saint
just,
Narada.
I pushed the wrong button and I went way far away. Okay, I'll find it. Don't worry, I'll find it. Just. What happened? Oh, I must have touched. I'm way, way far away. I don't know how this happened.
May I locate it for you?
An additional verse?
It was inside that.
Right after that.
Formula Surya Kalanami at 6 sons. So we did this.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Great. Got it. The great Saint Narada. Thank you, Tamal Baba. The great Saint Narada descended from the heavenly planets to the forest of Mathura and sent his messenger to Kamsa. When the messenger approached Kamsa and informed him of Narada's arrival, Kamsa, the leader of the Asuras, was very happy and immediately came out of his palace to receive Narada, who was as bright as the sun, as powerful as fire, and free from all tinges of sinful activities. Kamsa accepted Narada as his guest, offered him respectful obeisances, and gave him a golden seat, brilliant like the sun. Narada was a friend of the King of Heaven, and thus he told Kamsa, the son of Ugrasena, my dear hero, you have satisfied me with a proper reception, and therefore I shall tell you something secret and confidential. While I was coming here from Nandakanana through the Chaitrarat forest, I saw a great meeting of the demigods who followed me to Sumera Parvata. We traveled through many holy places, and finally we saw the holy Ganges. While Brahma was consulting the other demigods on the top of Sumera hill, I was also present with my stringed instrument, the veena. I shall tell you confidentially that the meeting was held just to plan to kill the Asuras, headed by you. You have a younger sister named Devaki, and it is a fact that her 8th son will kill you. Harivangsha Vishnu Parvat 1:2-16. No one can blame Naradaji for encouraging Kamsa to kill the sons of Devaki. The Saint Narada is always a well-wisher for human society, and he wanted the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna to descend to this world as soon as possible, so that the society of demigods would be pleased and would see Kamsa and his friends killed by Krishna. Kamsa would also attain salvation from his nefarious activities, and this too would very much please the demigods and their followers. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks in this connection that Narada Muni sometimes did things that were beneficial to the demigods and the demons simultaneously. Sri Viragava Acharya in his commentary has included the following half verse in this regard. Asurak sarva evaita lokopadravakarina. Asuras are always disturbing elements for human society. Prabhupada's giving us everything. Amazing. Amazing. Thus, and the Bhaktivedanta purport to the 10th canto, first chapter of Srimad-Bhagavatam, entitled The Advent of Lord Krishna. That was intense. No? We heard, Viravagacharya, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Commentaries of all the great souls in that chapter. Okay, it's your turn. Our turn. Yes, prana. He memorized that whole thing. That's in the third line, fourth word. It was said.
I just recall this one statement that Srila Prabhupada made about man is the architect of his own good fortune or fortune, and that was in the beginning of that. Additional notes, and I just like that point because how advanced we are in Krishna consciousness. Ultimately, it's up to Krishna's causeless mercy, but that reception of that causeless mercy, bestowal of that causeless mercy, is it's. I don't want to say it's dependent because Krishna is supremely independent, but in some way or another, Krishna is reciprocating with our own desire and will to become Krishna conscious. So I like that point. Puts the ball in our court. We can, become pure devotees if we want to.
Yeah, therefore we have to accept responsibility. Even though it's Krishna's mercy, it's our responsibility to deserve that mercy. We have that limited independence. And therefore, love can exist. If that wasn't true, love could not exist. Therefore, following from your point, when one fully surrenders, then one becomes free. Because only Krishna can actually tell Maya, back off completely. Because she's like servant of Krishna. And I think in another part of that, there was the idea that one who fully surrenders to Krishna then gets everything. All his desires are fulfilled. Even desires he didn't know he had, desires he had before he no longer has. therefore, as you said to Winston, you got nothing to lose and you got everything to gain. Therefore, why not surrender to Krishna completely? Why futz around, in the material world any longer? Once you've heard this, once you actually know about this, right? Why futz around anymore? And just cause yourself unnecessary grief and complications. Okay, what else? I was kind of halfway hoping that there wouldn't be too many more so I could go on time, but let's see. Okay, we've got some things from cyberspace over here. Fasten your seatbelts.
This is from Hannah Maharaj. She says, this is so nectarian. The more you actually hear attentively with enthusiasm, you enter more deeply into spiritual life. And the more you enter into spiritual life, the more you realize that there is no pleasure to be derived from material life, and that makes one very happy. Gives so much relief. Although it's very nectarian, because I'm a neophyte, it's very easy to forget of this transcendental pleasure. One has to be a hero, as you say, and constantly hear and chant all throughout the day just to stay focused. Because of my service, I cannot always chant, but I can hear. I listen to Tamal Krishna Goswami lectures and Vaisheshika Prabhu's classes. This daily reading requires more attention than classes and lectures, though. Do you have any other recommendations of what to listen to while we're actively doing service, while we patiently wait for the completion of the audiobook?
Well, you got to wait a long time before the audiobook comes out. You have. What a question. Hare Krishna. Leave it to Hannah. Hannah, leave it to you.
This next one is from Rasa Rasika. He says, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Rasa Rasika.
He says, please accept my obeisances. I recently read from a letter to Jayadev in 1972, quote, so to accept any situation as Krishna's mercy is to advance in spiritual life, end quote. How are we to distinguish Maya's arrangement from Krishna's mercy before we reach this advanced stage described in the quote?
Well, if you, to the proportion that you have received Krishna's mercy, you get devotional service. So if your devotional service is increasing, then you're getting Krishna's mercy. To the degree that you're in Maya is the degree to which you're avoiding the mercy. And that's measured by how detached we feel from the material energy. Attachment to Krishna and detachment from Maya are like a teeter-totter. The more attached you are to Krishna, the less attached you are to Maya. The more attached you are to Maya, the less attached you are to Krishna. So the more you've achieved Krishna's mercy, the more you feel detached from Maya, from sense gratification. The less sense gratification appeals to you.
Good, Maharaj. This last one on here is from Rati. He says, Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Tonight we heard many amazing things. One point which I don't quite understand is how a pure devotee doesn't have to change his body. What if one gradually becomes purely Krishna conscious, for example, when one gets older? Does that mean one stays in an older body? I know that is not the case, so how should we understand this point?
It's called an absurd inquiry. It's absurd inquiry. You know it's not the case, but you're asking anyway. Absurd inquiry. The devotee who's fully Krishna conscious is not conscious of the body. It doesn't make any difference whether his body is old or young. The devotee doesn't identify with the body. The pure devotee, the absolute pure devotee. I mean, we can define the pure devotee as a person without ulterior motives, but a person who has achieved the highest stages of pure devotional service, spontaneous love of God, is not concerned with the body, whether it's old or young, or invalid or not, or whatever. I saw this with my own eyes, heard it with my own ears. I was present when Prabhupada left this world. I was in the room for the last month. I watched him in physically such a difficult situation you could not imagine. The Ayurvedic physician said that any normal person would be screaming in pain and begging for morphine. Prabhupada never took anything. And he stayed fully conscious. One time I was in his room towards the end, and there weren't very many of us in the room, and Prabhupada was apparently sleeping, and then something happened, and then he just said what was going on in the room with his eyes closed. So we think these things, we can't understand these things because we're so attached to our bodies. We're so attached to every little sensual thing and every little breeze that goes by and every, suggestion of anybody that's not exactly what we like to hear or whatever. And when we're so attached and we can't understand these things, how it's possible for someone to become fully Krishna conscious and not be concerned. But the beginning is to stay fixed in your service, no matter what.
She said thank you.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Tamal, do I have your permission? Okay, it's 7:30, and I'm going to try to activate the recording tomorrow morning, and try to have a marathon between now and when I leave on the 15th, to get something done, get as close to the end of the Madhya Leela as I can. Thank you so much, everyone, for your beautiful hearts and ears to hear that nectar flowing from all the acharyas through the lotus mouth of Srila Prabhupada is very special. Very, very special. And the more we appreciate, even if we can't remember it. I was thinking the other day that when we're sitting here and hearing, even though, we're fallen souls, we can't remember anything, even walk out the door, we can't remember very much. But while we're hearing, if we hear attentively, it's non-different than meditating on Krishna. So we'll make it our goal to be able to do this 24/7, then we'll be very healthily situated in devotional service. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai. Shukadev Goswami ki jai. Maharaj Parikshit ki jai. Sri Krishna ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. See you tomorrow night, same time, same place, same station. Hare Krishna.